making films in 4th grade. My 4th grade teacher showed me how and helped us submit to like little film festivals around my local area. And the first film I ever made was my friend and I made a film about how to surf. And I've been making films ever since then. And I've taken every film class that my high school offers. I sometimes convince my teachers to allow me to make films for final assignments in like regular classes. And I've learned pretty much everything I know from peers and teachers and films themselves. Well, I think it all stemmed from my passion for environmental studies, and I wanted to comment on climate change and the impact that a lack of inaction towards climate change has had on my generation, and the way that that inaction to work towards more consistent solutions for our planet has left young people with the responsibility to clean up the mess and to work towards a more sustainable and environmentally friendly system. And basically a lot of that was inspired by some of the more existential films from during the Cold War, like Dr. Strangelove and On the Beach. A lot of science fiction too, which is where that came from in my own film. And then I was also inspired a lot by music, so the song I Melt With You by Modern English was a big part of that as well, and I couldn't use it in the final cut because I didn't have a big enough budget as a student to buy the copyrights, but yeah, it's still a very influential part of the process for me. I love Agnes Varda films, and one of my favorites of hers is La Bonheur, or Happiness, and I just think it's a really interesting interesting commentary on the nuclear family and just societal expectations for women in general, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful film, as all of hers are. Also love The Virgin Suicides, directed by Sofia Coppola. It's just a very fascinating interpretation of female gaze and male gaze upon women, and just there's such an interesting contrast between that, and great characters in that film as well. And then I also love Real Women Have Curves, and it's just a great story with really empowering characters and a very interesting mother-daughter dynamic, which I really like also. And then I love all Wes Anderson films too. I always go into a scene with a very detailed vision of how I picture it going, and it isn't always perfect, but I kind of have learned to go with the flow, being, a student with limited resources and stuff. So I'd say that I try to be as resourceful as I can, and having support from friends and family is really helpful in that process. I like to make room for my actors to improvise because I feel like it makes the scene more natural and gives the audience a more direct connection to the characters. And I got that idea from Orson Welles in his War of the Worlds radio broadcast, which is a technique that he used to make the acting more believable. My ideal film project would probably be to do like a very in-depth, either like a period piece or a sci-fi film. I think that would be really interesting, just with really good costumes and sets, and be able to go very in-depth on a commentary and comparison to our world today. I think that would be really cool. I would also buy copyright access to the songs that would fit the symbolism and mood for the film, because I think that's a really important part of good filmmaking. Usually try to coordinate with actors and essential crew because you can't really do anything without them, so you have to make sure that the production schedule fits their own schedule. And just having like a strict time and place for each scene that works for everybody, and then also reserving plenty of time for post-production and editing because that always takes longer than you think, in my opinion. They are my two best friends, so their chemistry as friends in the film is just natural. But they are not actresses, so their performance in that was, surprised me and them, I think, because I think they did a very nice job. And I tried to give them lots of instruction, helping them immerse themselves into the character's world. And just by they were so flexible and collaborative, and they were a very important part of the process, and I couldn't have done it without them. I love taking long takes, scenes that establish a sense of purposeful silence, because I think that makes it feel more natural. I enjoy focusing less on establishing a super defined or conventional plot, I think. So focusing more on like the moods or emotions that the commentary in the film is meant to portray. My next work, I'm thinking about doing something about comparing two different women of different ages and comparing their issues as women. So one older, and then one probably a teenager, and just a commentary on like societal restriction of female voices in society in general. I think that would be very interesting, and maybe working towards conveying a like allegory for missed opportunities to fight against certain aspects such as like global warming or things like that. So kind of a broad idea, but hoping to work more on the script soon. And then for the future, I hope to be able to continue making films because it's my passion, and to be able to have a career as a filmmaker would be just amazing. But it's a difficult industry, so we'll see. But I'm going to do everything that I can to make it happen and pursue it. So thank you so much.